Welcome back to another episode of the STGeek podcast with myself, AJ, and with me is...
Peter.
And John.
I'm feeling the energy, guys. One thing you can always count on with the STGeek podcast, high adrenaline-enriching energy.
He doesn't speak on my behalf. This is John.
I'm guessing Peter agrees on that one. All right, well, for
all
this...
the energy.
all the energy. I think I'm Goku. I'm sucking it all from you guys. All right, so for this episode, as was teased in episode 5, we are going to be talking about the movie. Which one are we going to be talking about, guys?
Creed?
Creed, yeah.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry.
The other movie.
The other one.
Yeah, so Overlord. Yes.
Overlord.
Produced by J.J. Abrams, fame from, Cloverfield, Star Trek, Star Wars, all sorts of things nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
The guy is all over the map. And so the moment I saw his name attached to it, I knew I had to see it. But we will be getting to that a little later. That will be our main topic for the episode. But first, we do have some news topics that each of us individually would like to bring up. Peter, what's first on the docket?
Ooh, so, okay. Didn't know you were going to put me on the spot.
Yes.
So...
Are you good with intermission music?
Yeah, that's what I need to pull it up on my phone. Professional podcasting at its best.
Yes.
Okay, so according to Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy, the Boba Fett standalone movie is officially dead. Not happening. No more.
Yeah, I did hear about that earlier this week. That does kind of suck.
I think we're actually kind of late on reporting this, too.
Yeah, I think that was like 2 weeks old.
That's
But it's
too bad.
okay. I mean...
I honestly cared so little that I only heard about it last week. I did not care for a Boba Fett standalone movie, to be honest.
To be fair, the only reason I want to see him, I feel, is the only reason people even like the character, and that he's kind of cool looking for the era that he was created.
That's all it is.
Like, he was a cool looking 70s-esque kind of character, but every scene he's in, he sucks.
Yeah.
He gets killed.
The one
so
good thing
easily.
that he does is find the Millennium Falcon.
Right, okay, yeah.
Everything but other than that, he's an idiot. He's a bumbling buffoon.
Yes. He falls into the great situations that are part of that universe, but he never lives long enough to actually appreciate them,
It's like, have you ever seen The Lion King 1.5?
Yeah.
With Timon and Pumbaa that are in the background of the first Lion King movie?
You are
That's
blowing my
pretty
mind
much
right now. Yeah.
He's just there, but he's not really contributing much. He's just kind of around. He did that one thing that one time.
The camera hits him, and he's just like, shoulder shrug. That's all we get from that guy.
Yeah.
No, I feel you. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, I guess, but oh well.
Yeah,
I'm good with a little less Star Wars movies, only to hopefully make the actual new trilogy that much better, I hope, and a little more focus on what's important, rather than Boba Fett.
Did you guys ever see Solo?
I have not
No,
yet. I've been
no.
wanting to.
Yeah, me neither.
I should. Oh, wow. Okay, well, yeah, all three of us have
don't
not
make
seen
excuses.
it.
I've actually heard it's,
No, I wanted to. I
I've
just
heard
never
it's
took the
pretty-
time.
I've heard it's okay.
I've heard
Yeah.
it's okay. I've heard there's some fun
But
surprises.
I didn't care enough to watch it.
If you have any spoilers, tweet them at Peter with at PG Chava.
Yeah.
Let him know. Send him the gifts.
Yep.
Joke's
would
on you.
appreciate-
I already read up on all the spoilers.
Oh, okay.
Because I
Brian.
cared
Prove 'em
that
wrong.
little.
Prove 'em wrong.
I
Yes.
cared that
Prove 'em
little.
The
wrong.
most minute details. You have 240 characters now. You can do it. Please let them know everything.
All right.
All right. Well, what's next up?
Moving on. Speaking
Sure.
of Star Wars news, we got even more. So Diego Luna is set to reprise his role
What?
as Cassian Andor in the Star Wars live-action typo there. It says love action. Live action.
Love action.
Star
Okay.
Wars,
I'm
yeah.
okay with that.
I know some
Novella?
people that wouldn't.
Nice.
He's a good-looking dude. Why not?
That's where he got his fame from. Was a telenovela, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Bringing it back.
Yeah.
There you go.
Exactly.
Star Wars live action series confirmed.
Star Wars saved, guys.
Right? Hand me that lightsaber. Pretty sure
And
that's a working title.
That's going to be for Disney's streaming service, Disney Plus. So, I don't know. What movie was he in again? Rogue One.
He was in Rogue One, and he was
probably the
fine
best
in it.
part of Rogue One, in my opinion.
I liked him. I was actually surprised he was in a Star Wars movie. He just didn't seem like the type of guy. Not knocking his acting. I just wouldn't have expected him of all people. But I like that Rogue One kind of had a lot of people that no one really knew very well. He was like the biggest star in that movie, if I'm not mistaken, besides General Tarkin, which was CG in the first place.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Forrest Whitaker was in there.
Oh,
for
that's right. I'm
for
sorry.
10
Forrest Whitaker
seconds
was in
and
there.
died because he didn't want to run or something. I don't know.
He was.
Spoiler.
Sorry, Forrest Whitaker. He was okay in the movie. I didn't really care for his character that much. I heard the actual character itself was a lot better written than his take on it. But that's just what I've heard.
Yeah, because I know that the character he plays is a character. It's a carryover character from the show Rebels, if I'm not mistaken, which I have not seen.
Nope.
But from what I hear, he's actually a lot better on the show than he is, like you said, portrayed in the movie. So,
which is surprising because Forrest Whitaker is a hell of an actor too. But you can't win them all, I suppose.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then next up, what else do we have, Peter? Anything from you?
Shit. Let me see. What we got.
I think we're getting all Peter news right out of the way.
That's fine. You gotta. This is what the people want. At PG Chava. So Netflix is getting sued over the chilling adventures of Sabrina. I think I mentioned that show a week or two ago.
You blew my mind about it. Yeah.
But they're getting sued. Did you guys hear about this?
No, I did not know.
Give me the deets.
I heard it's a pretty decent show, though.
So have I. I haven't seen it yet, although I probably should, because who knows, with all this, with them getting sued, they might take it down. Well, anyway, so let me get to the reason why it's getting sued first. Mm-hmm. So apparently the Church of Satan is suing Netflix because there's a statue in the show that very closely resembles a statue that they have in their temple or something like that.
Is it chiseled on it like TM or something like that? Like, what the fuck?
I have no
An
idea.
R with a circle around it?
I have no idea, but I don't know. They do look very similar. I have seen the photos, but...
Is it something that the church owns? Like, can you own a piece of
If they made it up
statue?
themselves, yeah.
I guess so, but
I would imagine they have to, like...
I guess so. Like,
Patent it,
if
right?
someone recreated like a Picasso painting, they'd probably owe royalties to whoever owns the Picasso paintings nowadays or works of art. So I guess that makes sense, but kind of weird. I would feel like that would rather go the earnings of that would go to the church itself rather than to one person. But I have no idea, or maybe one person rather than the church. I don't know, but that's kind of weird. You said it's the Church of Satan?
Something like
Yeah,
that.
Hail Satan.
The Church of Satan. Hail
Hail
Satan.
Satan.
Don't act like you don't know.
We're all part of this. Yeah. STGeek all about that Satan life. Oh yeah, big time for sure. What Illuminati? We're definitely.
So that's cool.
Yeah,
so watch the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina if you haven't already, because who knows how long it's going to be.
it might not
Depending
be
on
out
how
there
this
very
whole
long.
thing pans out.
Then again, Netflix makes so much money, though. I really feel like this is like.
Do they? I feel like they did at one point, but with a lot of their shows coming back with less than stellar ratings, I don't even know anymore.
Do you feel like people are dropping off? I've never personally owned a Netflix account myself.
Bastard,
but I mean,
you've been using mine.
I've been using yours. I used to use someone else's, but what happened? I got a new Xbox, and so no. I got a new laptop, and so then I no longer had the password or anything like that. Never memorized it. So I just lost that account.
You were
but
too embarrassed to ask?
yeah, I was. I was just like, I'll leave it alone.
remember that
I
one
asked
time?
I asked one time, but I never asked the second time.
He would constantly turn off my subtitles, and I was losing my fucking mind.
Who watches movies with subtitles when they don't need it?
Movies with
Yes.
subtitles.
If you speak the English language, why do you need English subtitles? Let's
Sometimes
debunk
it's
this right now.
loud in my house. Sometimes,
Yeah. It's just easier to know what they're saying. Yeah.
Sometimes they mumble.
It's just
and I'm
clear.
like, what
It's
the fuck
just
did that
that's
guy
what
say?
he said. I've been recently watching King of the Hill with subtitles.
Okay, that is
and
fair.
what's
Does it
the
decode
character?
Boomhauer? Does it actually show what he's saying?
And sometimes it doesn't.
Or does
It's
it
pretty
say-
awesome. Sometimes.
Does it just say like indiscernible mumbling or something like
no,
that?
because sometimes he says dango, and that comes
Yeah.
up, but then like in between that, it doesn't say
Bango,
anything.
Banglomar, whatever.
I don't fucking.
No.
The point is, if you're gonna use a man's Netflix account, you gotta turn off his captions.
In my defense, you speak English. Secondly, I have been trying to be better lately about making sure I
bad
take.
man.
I will turn them off when I'm watching something, but I will put them back on before I log
I'll
out.
fucking stab you,
I do
AJ.
try to do that from
I'll
now on. I
stab
promise you. And I feel guilty whenever I realize I'll wake up the next morning and be like, fuck, I didn't put them back on. So I promise you, it is
With
in the
an
back of
evil
my
laugh
mind.
right after.
I didn't put them back on. And then I go about my day with a nice hop in my step.
The worst part was I didn't even know it was AJ. It's just, I would watch it.
myself
I
out.
would watch it,
Fuck.
and then they would turn off, and I'd be like, "What the fuck?"
I hate Netflix.
And then one day AJ was like, "Oh, I'm the one who's doing it, motherfucker."
God damn it. I guess I really just wanted to know why, but it's okay. I respect your. It's your account. Again, I
Don't question
I
me.
do make an effort. I do make an effort to turn them back on. I really do. but I'm sorry if I don't always get around to it. Anyway, so next up, one segment I want to talk about, and then we'll go to John's in a moment, was that, have you guys heard about Shazam and them needing reshoots, actually?
I had not heard about that.
Yeah, it was news to me up until about a week ago or so. I found out that, they already did principal photography a while ago. Mm-hmm. However, they are bringing back Zachary Levi, I believe is the actor, lead actor of Shazam. And Chuck. Chuck. And they needed him back. And we've had a couple movies recently. Solo was mentioned earlier. That was one of them that had needed a lot of reshoots due to cast chemistry, all sorts of bullshit that went on with that movie. And other movies as well. We have Batman vs. Superman, another terrible example of needing reshoots for very negative things. And of course.
It's a great movie.
Or I'm sorry, not Batman versus Superman, Justice League. Sorry,
equally as great.
Very much so. Totally.
If not better.
Well, this is just now another example of DC needing reshoots. On top of that, I'm sorry, just since I'm on the DC topic, we also had Suicide Squad that not only needed reshoots, but also re-edited their trailers to make it seem a little more audience-friendly and a more light and funny as well. Mm-hmm. Here's another example of that. However, the only difference is with this, at least in my opinion, is that the first Shazam trailer that launched bought me right off the bat.
Yeah.
I fell in love with it, and I'm excited for
great.
it. Yeah. I don't want to bog down DC and saying I hate them. I really want to see this movie. I think we all want to see that movie.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm a little curious. Does this mean that there's a problem? The only thing that makes me feel like maybe there isn't is that DC made sure to budget for this, and that their initial budget accounts for not only principal photography, pre-production, post-production, but also reshoots if necessary. How do you guys feel about that whole topic, though?
Well, reshoots are actually a lot more common in cinema than many might realize. So with the first trailer coming out, it looks like they have a pretty good idea on what direction and what vision they're going for. So if the reshoots are anything, they're probably just maybe a few extra takes. Maybe they got some bad shots. Like, who knows? But I really don't think it's going to put the film in danger in any way.
For all we know, they're just shooting the same scenes over again, but just making sure it really hits as hard as they want it to.
With some of the examples you gave, they almost reshot the entire movies from the ground up. It was like that with Solo, I believe. Mm-hmm. Justice League was halfway through production before they pretty much redid that whole movie. Yeah. Suicide Squad.
It still didn't turn out any better.
I don't know what the fuck happened there.
Fuck you, Jared Leto.
No. Hours of footage no one will ever see, I don't think.
Release the Snyder cut or whatever.
Yeah.
Also okay with that.
But yeah, I'm hoping that this is just something, again, to make sure the jokes hit as well as they want. Maybe they were hoping to get a better camera angle on certain shots. Again, from what we saw in the trailer, I don't see this movie being a miss whatsoever.
Have they had pre-screenings for this at any point?
I don't not that I know of. When does it
due out anyway?
2019?
Sure, yeah.
Just sometime next year? Okay.
I haven't noticed a month. No. But again, I mean, we'll see how this works. My curiosity and my hope that it isn't is that hopefully they're not trying to include characters from the DC universe to make it kind of connect more. I love the idea that Aquaman is going to be its standalone thing. Yeah, he's part of the Justice League. Obviously, we've seen that already. But again, it's him versus Black Manta. I'm hoping that Shazam is the same exact way. I don't need them to be throwing in Superman and try to put Henry Cavill back in the DC universe or anything like that. I mean, I'm fine with Henry Cavill as Superman, of course. I hope he remains Superman for a long time if that ends up being the case.
Just get written better, please.
Yeah, yes, please. Give him something to do. Give him something super to do, please, besides being the saving grace at the very end of a movie. Spoilers. But yeah, I'm just hoping that, again, this is just to make sure the movie runs tighter. Everything just looks a lot better because, again, the first trailer was nothing but excitement from my end.
Oh, yeah. Same here.
Cool. All right. Well, then, John, what was your first topic you wanted to bring up?
Well, Peter already basically said it.
True, yeah, you're right.
Disney service was officially announced, the name Disney. I called it Disney Plush. I might just stick with that, but it's Disney Plus. And it's supposed to be coming out at the end of next year, basically. It said late 2019. Probably October is what I would imagine.
Yeah, probably
fourth
good
quarter somewhere.
8 to 12 months away from now or so. That's right. It's a good time for it to come out at least. They have enough time to prep everything.
Make the shows.
Contracts, make the shows. On top of that, go into post-production with everything. And on top of that, it's fall, or it's going to be near winter as well at that point. People are going to have a lot of time off from work and from school. They're going to get a lot of viewership or a lot of people with downtime willing to subscribe to something new, especially with Disney in the name.
God.
What's up? What are you thinking, Peter?
It's going to be so much more. It's going to be the Frozen bullshit all over again.
What do you mean?
That's going to make a comeback. If Disney's streaming service is coming out towards December, I'm just going to hear a bunch of little kids running around screaming, "Let it go."
Oh, dude.
All over again.
I knew several Disney employees while Frozen was a thing. And, yeah, apparently Disneyland was turned into, like, Frozen Land for that.
Yeah.
For, like, a good, like, 6 to 7 months. It was ridiculous.
It's not a good movie. I said
it's
it.
pretty subpar.
I thought I was the only one that felt that. No, I love
great.
Tangled
I love
way
Tangled.
more.
Better.
Frozen was cool, but the songs didn't catch me that much. The characters didn't grab me as much either. It's a fun movie,
It
but
had 2 moments that
Tangled's better.
genuinely made me laugh. Like, that's it. 2
Sure.
moments, and it was the snowman dude whose name I forget.
Olaf.
Yeah.
Olaf, yes.
That was it. And the rest of it was just like, what? I don't care.
Actor did a great job in Beauty and the Beast, actually. You'll find him in that. He does a good job in that movie as well. Just to throw that out there.
Okay.
Don't have his name off the top of my head. If you do,
great.
at PG Chava.
He's a great actor. He's in a lot of funny comedies.
Yeah.
Dude can sing, too. Dude can sing. I mean, if you're a part of Disney, obviously you got to know what you're doing. But, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And what's the next thing you want to talk about, John?
You guys just recently saw the picture, but that set photo of the Joker just chilling, smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, what was the caption for that?
It said 5-minute break.
5-minute break.
Posted
Yeah.
that anyway. Was that
It was
Joaquin
the
Phoenix?
director.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
That's
okay.
cool.
Yeah. That's
It looks
actually
really good.
It's a really great shot. It's a really
You don't even
great
see his
shot.
face, just the way it is.
Just the body language of it all.
I've never been so excited to watch a DC movie. It's pretty crazy.
No, for real.
Yeah.
I like. They have 3 big hits that I'm ready for: Aquaman, Shazam, and then this Joker movie. I want to know what the movie title is going to be. Is it just going to be Joker? What the subtitle will be? Either way, DC can take my money as far as I'm concerned with these next 3, which it says a lot on my end as far as their track record of late. But I don't think that's any surprise to anyone that's probably listening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but overall, Joker, yeah, totally hyped for that movie. All right, well, next up,
I just realized.
Oh, please, yeah.
I've seen every single DCEU movie that's come out, for better or worse.
Mostly worse.
Well put.
And I haven't seen all the Star Wars movies that have come out. Because I haven't seen Solo.
Yeah, same. That's the only one I've been missing.
I'm kind of disappointed in myself.
Yeah. Especially because I've heard Solo is pretty decent, but there's a lot of DC movies right now that aren't so good, so it's like kind of sucks. I think I partially like to punish myself a little bit. I'm into that. All right, so next up, one last thing I want to talk about before we get to our main topic is that, what was it that I want to talk about? Oh, yes. So the Russo brothers, directors of Avengers 4, Infinity War 2, whatever you want to call it right now, they have announced a couple things. One, that the current cut they have of the film, because shooting is finished, they're looking at about 3 hours more or less of a full-on cut of the film, and they're kind of tinkering with it. They're trying to decide, are we going to do 3 hours? Are we going to do a little more? Are we going to do a little less? They might get pressure from like movie theaters saying, we're going to get more money if we can get more butts and seats throughout the day faster. So why not go for 2.5 hours, similar to what Infinity War 1 did?
It's going to be 3 hours.
Well, we'll see. But then you get movies like Lord of the Rings,
I was
Return
gonna
of the
say,
King.
yeah.
A prime example of like a 3.5 hour long movie, which I was all down for. And personally, maybe because we're nerds, I can't speak for everyone here on this couch right now, but me personally, if they make that movie a minimum 3 hours, I will eat every second of it up.
I'd be totally
easily.
okay with it,
I will.
I'm not saying I
even if they
wouldn't.
want to put an intermission in the middle, I will do it. If they want to give me 2.5 hours and then intermission for 10, 15 minutes and then another 2.5 hours, I'll do it.
That.
I'll do it.
That's where John
I'm just
draws the
saying,
line.
You pee on your own brakes, my friend. I'm trying to get through this shit.
Fair enough.
It's 3 hours.
I wouldn't want to kill the momentum. I'm just saying, give me 2.5, 10-minute intermission. Give me another 2.5. If it comes down to it, I'll take whatever it takes. I'll do
Even
it.
with Return of the King as an example, that's too. It has like 5 endings.
It does have
the
a
last
lot of
45
endings.
minutes are just ending after ending.
I
after
almost
ending.
stood up during
I'm just like,
one of the
"Holy shit,
endings.
it's still
of that movie.
going. I thought we were
really
done.
did. No, I feel you, but I thought that was interesting. So, John, you say you're all for it?
Well, yeah, 100%.
Peter?
Of course, I'm for it, but I
Okay.
don't think it's going to happen.
Oh no, yeah, I do
It's
feel
gonna
you
get
in that
cut down.
regard. The corporations will get in the middle of it and be like, hey, we can make a lot more money if you just trim some fat a little bit. But the thing is, it's Marvel Avengers fat. Whatever they're
supposed to
trimming
end
is going to be good.
The phase, right?
Exactly.
That's kind of it.
Why not just go out with a bang, go as far as you want with it, go crazy. Maybe not 4 hours, even though I would love that, but I'll take it. If they want to make an extended version on Blu-ray, best believe I'll watch it and buy it for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is one thing about Avengers 4 to talk about. Another thing is that the subtitle for the name, Avengers 4, blah, 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 blah. They have confirmed, or we'll see. The Russo brothers like to tease a lot with their naming. But they have said that the new title will be something that has already been spoken in a line within the MCU of recent as well. Of late. So it's kind of weird. And also they said that this is whatever the subtitle will be. Again, we'll see in like, several months from now if it ends up being the case. But they said that it will be something that scares not only the geeks that are really caring about the MCU, but also just the general audience as well. So
Avengers,
maybe,
I can do this all day, confirmed.
Right, something like that, yeah. But then he ends up not being able to, which will break my heart in pieces.
That's the game. They mislead you with the title.
Exactly. Oh no. But he won't be able to do it all day, and then I'm gonna cry, and then no, I don't want that. But no, yeah, I was thinking like Fall of Cap, or who knows what the fuck it's gonna be called. It makes me a little curious, a little emotional. I don't know what it's gonna be, but I'm excited for it nonetheless. I think it's gonna be pretty fun.
I believe they said that the trailer for Avengers 4 is actually going to come out before the end of the year.
I've heard that, though I kind of doubt it, only because it's supposed to come out in May.
Yeah.
It's a year apart between the two. That gives you 5 months of waiting for the actual movie to come out. I would like that to happen.
Sometimes you see trailer like a year before the movie comes out.
Didn't the
Fair point.
Avengers... I mean, it was leaked, but the first...
The first Infinity War?
Yeah, Infinity War, that one was leaked.
Yeah.
That's
like
true.
A long time before it. It
That's
got me
true.
so hyped.
Oh, yeah.
Even though it was so shitty, it was pretty badass.
No, I feel you. But I mean, I'm hoping that's the case. I really think so because they have great opportunities to do so for like opening trailers for Mary Poppins, for example. Who knows? I was hoping maybe the Nutcracker would give us at least a little teaser, but that movie didn't do so well.
There's a Nutcracker
financially.
movie?
Yeah, by Disney. And yeah, exactly. Not a lot of people knew about it. Not a lot of people like myself really cared.
I thought that was a play.
It was.
I
It's
saw,
based
like,
on a
posters
play.
for it. I thought it.
Oh, like they're bringing it back?
Yeah.
We're bringing it back, guys. That time of year. No. It's in theaters right now,
Oh,
and it's not selling
nobody's
very
watching
well.
it. Okay.
Exactly. So obviously, I think they kind of forecasted that. Hence, no teaser, no nothing, no 5-second glimpse as to what I don't know anything as far as Infinity War goes or Avengers 4.
You know what movie? What movie I went to go see that was horrible? But this is the only time I've ever done this. I went to go see a movie specifically because I wanted to see a trailer, and they announced a trailer before that movie.
What was it?
The trailer was Cloverfield.
Oh, okay. That was in the back of my mind. I wanted to say it, but I didn't want to embarrass myself. No, that trailer was amazing.
It was.
Cloverfield.
No,
the movie.
The movie
please.
itself, it was Beowulf. Don't ever see it.
Yeah, well,
I hated that
I will
movie
admit,
so much.
I saw that movie 2 nights in a row because
I'm sorry.
I was partaking
This explains so much.
in some substances as a kid. All right, but so I enjoyed the special effects of the movie, but the story itself was kind of a snore throughout the whole entire thing. But it was like one of the first photorealistic-esque movies I had ever seen. So I wanted to see it for that. I tripped out hard for that.
I almost walked out, honestly.
No,
I saw your trailer.
Bored.
I don't blame
saw my
you.
trailer and I was about to leave.
I don't blame you. No, but that caught my attention. That trailer, that Cloverfield trailer, was in the back of my mind throughout all of Beowulf. Though.
I have another funny side note to me going to see that movie.
Yeah.
Which I will tell you guys after we record.
Oh.
Remind me to bring that.
If you want to know the story in the next episode, at PG Chava.
Not that much of a story.
Peter
but
at PG Chava.
Maybe he'll just tweet you the story. Or maybe he'll send you a GIF or GIF, whatever you prefer, hinting towards what the
it's more
story
so
would
an inside
be.
joke between, well, not an inside joke, but maybe we'll see.
At PG
It's okay.
Chava.
At PG Chava, nonetheless.
I've already said too much. It's hyping it up. It's not, nothing is about to happen. Nothing.
Well, you're teasing them, though. Fair enough. Okay, no worries
We'll
about
see.
it. Okay. Well, as we mentioned earlier, we all did go out and take the time to go see Overlord.
Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're skipping something that Peter was going to talk about.
Oh, shit.
I need to hear this now.
It's not important enough.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. What's up?
So,
Please.
a couple of weeks ago,
Yes.
apparently you guys, they didn't hear about this,
I did not.
but
Oh.
Mark Ruffalo
Yes.
has actually supposedly, I say supposedly very hard,
Sure.
leaked the title of Avengers 4 and is reportedly fired because of it.
What's the title?
It's okay. So let me start at the beginning. So Mark Ruffalo went on to Jimmy Fallon, I believe it was Jimmy Fallon, and Jimmy Fallon asked him about the title, and then he actually said it. They bleeped it, but reports are that he said Annihilation, Avengers Annihilation.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Sure.
And then afterwards, he went on this whole big thing, like, oh, there's a part in the movie where Hulk does. He's very eccentric about the whole thing, which is what makes me believe that the whole thing is just a ruse, it's just a joke.
Yeah, it's publicity.
And then following that,
as well.
Immediately following that, one of the Russo brothers tweeted at him saying, "You're fired," and everybody was just like, "Haha, good times." But actually, it came out a few days ago that they're either really committed to this joke,
sure,
or he's actually fired, because they said, "No, yes, we fired Mark Ruffalo."
Oh my God! Wow.
I feel like there would be more news about this. I feel like this is big enough news to be.
It seems like nobody's taking it serious. It was over Twitter. So
yeah,
that's like...
Take it with a grain of salt in that regard, then.
Then
I
again,
mean, you can't fire someone over Twitter. Not
then
legally.
again, there are some
People get
in high
fired.
authority who use Twitter to say some pretty crazy out there stuff with no remorse whatsoever. So stuff does get said on Twitter,
true.
and can or cannot be official.
True, no, yeah, true. But at least I think Disney, when they handled it with James Gunn, they were very official about it when it came down to it. They didn't the Disney Twitter account did not tweet James Gunn fired, or anything like that. They handled it in a very public statement kind of way. So I think it is interesting, but to lose Mark Ruffalo, I mean, I don't think that's the heaviest loss they could hit. No offense, Mark Ruffalo, but
the offense, Mark Ruffalo.
No, I think he's a great member of the cast.
I like him a lot.
He's very fun and charismatic, especially in Ragnarok. I loved him in that.
That movie was it was amazing.
Yeah, he's good. He's good in every Marvel movie that he's in. I love him.
They could just retire his character at this point, really. Like, where else can he really go?
True.
They can't do a Hulk solo movie. They did say that Ragnarok was going to be the first in a 3-movie arc for the Hulk. So Avengers 4 would be ending that arc, presumably. And so, unless they have plans for him somewhere down the future,
World
they don't
War?
even really...
World War Hulk.
I don't
maybe?
see that happening.
No? That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. You're not going to see World Breaker Hulk in the MCU.
Well, I mean, Ragnarok kind of referenced it a bit.
A Planet Hulk and all that stuff.
Because he was a fucking Trojan.
gladiator.
Yeah,
He
he
was
was
like
a
a champion
gladiator.
there. Yeah, he had the costume and everything. You're right.
He was talking.
That's
and
not
all
World Breaker Hulk. That's
No,
that's
but-
Planet Hulk.
Yeah. True. That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe World War Hulk could happen one day. Maybe if they start seeing like a dip in sales of Marvel movies, then they'll kind of go for that outlandish, crazy stuff. But until then,
That's what I
think they're
want, though. I'm
yeah.
tired of this, like, it's great having a connected universe, but let's just get some fucking nonsense going.
yeah, it's kind of like you mentioned about the X-Men movies in a few episodes ago. And
They're just stories.
Yeah, they're just side stories and just collections of stories throughout the universe. Doesn't necessarily have to be from the same timeline, even though they try to make it and then erase what they did to begin with. But at least it is a nice... Yeah,
It failed.
It's a topsy-turvy mess, yeah. But at least they try to just have some fun rather than making everything connect and share one universe. Like, they try both, but I think it's just easier to
They
believe
failed
that...
one.
Yeah, well, Days of Futures Past is weird, and what is it? Apocalypse, I've heard, is just okay.
Age Apocalypse.
I've heard it's okay. You've told me it's okay.
worse than okay.
It's a movie.
It's worse than okay.
It's a movie.
It was pretty.
I mean, okay is giving it too much praise.
I'm not sure if I've ever heard the phrase "it's worse than okay." Yeah. I've heard, "Oh yeah, it's better than okay," but okay, I'll watch
That's
it.
a great
Though.
way to put
It's
it,
not
though.
as good as okay.
I applaud you, Peter. That's a great way of putting it.
It's really too bad because of the actor that plays Apocalypse. He's really good in everything I see him in.
I think the cast is pretty great. I think the
yeah.
directors are terrible, and it's mostly just Bryan Singer and then like 2 other directors, right?
Yeah. Isn't Bryan Singer doing another big movie?
I don't know.
What does he make? I saw his name recently in something, but I can't remember.
I think his names are on the credit in Bohemian Rhapsody. Wasn't he?
Was that it?
Didn't he do like
that
the
the
first
case?
half and then he got fired or some shit like
Oh
that?
shit!
I think you're right. I think that's where I saw
Yeah,
it.
he started the movie and then he got fired
Oh wow!
or he quit. One of the I don't know. I don't like Bryan
Along
Singer.
with Sacha Baron Cohen, or what? They fired them both, or what?
No, but he actually like contributed to the movie from my understanding.
He's still in the credits.
Okay. Oh, interesting. All right. Well,
If we're wrong, at Peachy Java.
yeah. Let him know.
Java.
Let Peter know.
He'll let us know.
Exactly.
So don't let us know. Let Peachy
He'll
Java
let us know that you let him know,
Yeah.
and then it comes full circle. We're good. All right. Anything else you guys want to chat about before we get to main topic?
No, it's main topic.
All right.
Main topic.
Yes, as I was getting to earlier, we all went out to go see Overlord, a movie that is interesting, and we'll get into it. We'll start off with a little light on the spoilers, and then we'll move into full-on spoilers pretty soon into it, though, so be warned on that for sure. The movie came out this past weekend and has done pretty well. The studio that released it did... Bad Robot did claim that they thought the movie would make about $10 million or so, which I think it has hit that mark. Right now, it might still be climbing toward that. So obviously not the biggest opening a movie has ever had, but at least they had, understandable expectations. Realistic goals for sure, because I really don't see much advertising for this movie outside of the internet. And I saw it on a bus stop in LA a couple days ago. That's about it. So yeah, it was on like a bus stop bench.
Yeah.
But
the theater was way more packed than I was expecting it to be.
True. When I saw it Thursday night, the night of the airing, and it was a good time, and it was a good crowd for sure. Mm-hmm. Everyone was into it. So what do you guys think the story was about? Please.
Zombies. Well, not monsters. Zombie monsters. Nazis.
Zombie monster Nazi robots.
We have World War II, soldiers, Nazis,
zombies.
The end.
Yes. So the beginning of the movie is essentially...
That was great, Peter.
Yeah.
I don't gotta watch the movie.
I completely understand
Sorry,
this now.
we said no spoilers, but there you go.
Right? Zombies,
the whole movie.
It's all these soldiers in World War II, and they're on their way to Nazi Germany, I believe, or they're on their way to Normandy, I believe, right?
Yeah, it's
it's pre-D-Day.
It's leading up to the D-Day, yes.
Yeah, it's like the eve of, essentially. Mm-hmm. And so it's all these soldiers in a bomber, and they're getting ready to parachute down, but on their way to their destination, they have to knock out this radio tower and this defense tower in general to be able to knock down the defenses. That way the Americans can actually get more planes into the area, so that way they can fully take control of of the beach. But before they can do that, they need to be able to bomb this tower, so that is where the story starts off. Insanity ensues from there, really.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes are a fucking roller.
It is intense. The sound quality
It was so
great.
good. I was sitting there at the edge of my seat those first 5 minutes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Not spoiling anything, just... while that scene was going on, I told myself there will be no other scene in this movie as good as this scene.
Right?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
It was great.
It demands your attention.
Shit.
Mm-hmm.
What a way to start.
You hardly know the characters. You have no connection to any of these people, but you're just like, holy crap.
You're afraid for them.
Oh, yeah.
They start taking like artillery fire and anti-aircraft fire while it's going.
The plane basically gets blown in half.
How it happens,
yes.
like they're calm, they're just talking. Mm-hmm. He sleeps, they wake up, and you kind of start seeing shit just a bit.
So they start experiencing some mild turbulence, yeah.
And then you finally start seeing the explosions, and then people start dying.
Very quickly and very violently as well.
Yeah.
Ripped out of the
and
plane.
It's crazy, because I would imagine that actually kind of happened in World War II when they're like that.
Of course.
Fucking crazy.
To see the amount of planes that went down outside of their own as well. It was very, very violent.
And how like the leader, the
sergeant?
Yeah,
I thought the same thing.
He kept his composure through the entire...
he was their leader. He had to do what he had to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Were you going to say something,
Speaking
Peter?
of which, I like that when they found him on the ground, and even though he was about to get killed,
he was still a badass.
He was, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that guy's been around. He's a veteran.
He knew he was going to die.
Yep,
he was just cussing at him and saying like, "You motherfuckers, blah blah blah."
Well, he asked for a cigarette.
Yeah,
that's pretty gangster.
Yeah, that was cool.
I've seen that actor in a lot of things, and every single time I have to be like, "Is that Dave Chappelle?"
Yeah,
every single time he looks so much like Dave Chappelle.
He could be his double for sure. Anytime, a stunt double. Anytime, I totally agree. I think he just has to get the voice down a little bit, but I'm sure he could pick that up. Definitely. No, but overall, the beginning of the movie was a home run for me. It sounds like
caught my attention.
as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it was great because I invited my dad to see it with me. He wanted to go out and see a movie, and I was like, "There's a new movie that just came out. You want to go?" We caught like I said, the night showing. It came out, and he had heard from the guy at the box office. He met me there, and I guess he asked the guy, "What is this movie about?" He hadn't heard about it either, and so. The guy just told him, "Oh yeah, it's about zombies during World War II." And when my dad sat down, he's like, "You didn't tell me we're seeing some horror movie." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "The guy at the box office told me blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Oh, well, we'll see how it goes." And my dad was totally turned off by it from the description.
Your dad doesn't like horror?
He doesn't like horror, and I think he also thought it would be a little cheesy because of zombies, like Nazi zombies essentially, like some Call of Duty shit, but in a movie. But I was like, no, it's by the same guy that made like Cloverfield, Star Trek, Star Wars. I think you'll be okay with it. And he's like, all right. And then, but then the moment that scene started, my dad was freaking out.
hooked, right?
He had a great time.
Yeah.
And he enjoyed, spoilers, he enjoyed the entire movie. he even told me after the movie, he's like, I didn't think I was going to like it, but it was pretty good.
I had a similar thing happen with me. I went to go take my girlfriend and her two sisters, and they were just like, what the fuck are we watching? I've never heard of this. And yeah, I'm just like, Nazis, zombies, whatever. We'll see what happens. And my girlfriend, I'm sure I've mentioned it before, is a notorious wuss. That's not an exaggeration. She's jumped at comedies. Seriously, like I'm not even joking you. And she was just like, "Is this going to be a scary movie?" And I only saw the very first trailer that came out, like I think a year ago. And I was just like, it looks okay. It's got my ticket. But I wasn't expecting it to be as scary as it was. It's not too scary, but it's scarier than I would have thought.
It's an action with like horror elements.
Yeah.
So don't take a small child, but any teenager will be fine throughout this film.
Yes.
Yeah,
I was
easily.
expecting an action movie, but there were bits of horror in there as well.
There was one special effect scene with the makeup that really freaked me out for a split second. The shot only was for like 2 seconds, but it was pretty gruesome. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
What you're talking about.
Probably. So yeah, essentially the bomber plane or jet they're on crash lands because it gets destroyed midair. All the soldiers are parachuting out as best they can. Some of them make it. A lot of them don't. The vast majority of them don't. It comes down to a ragtag team of about 5 of them for a moment.
Sounds about right.
4, then 3, then 4.
Yeah.
It turns into like 5 at the very beginning, and then one unlucky guy steps on a landmine.
I forgot about that guy.
And then it went down to 4 really quickly.
It felt like a very... It reminded me... The first 15 minutes, anyway, reminded me of Saving Private Ryan in the sense that it was a very gritty and what I can only assume is a realistic look at what war is like.
Sure. Yes.
I've never seen combat, so I can only speculate.
Yeah, of course.
But it wasn't shy about how brutal warfare can be.
Yes.
And how unforgiving.
For sure. I completely agree. It made me feel very sad about the whole experience, but it was very gripping and enticing. It was exciting for sure. So then from there, the whatever soldiers are left from that same bomber that you see in the very beginning of the movie, they're able to eventually group up with one another. One of them doesn't make it, as we talked about. So then the 4 of them still maintain their mission that they were given by their sergeant to go to this watchtower where they need to pretty much destroy with C4 and plastique bombs to be able to, again, get planes and Air Force within the realm that they need to be in on the beach, on the land, on the mainland, essentially. And so they do try to do so. And then on their way there, they do find one French woman that is being held captive, or her whole village is being held captive in France. And so they do find her, bump into her. She's like stealing or like scavenging, was she?
Yeah, it looks. Yeah,
she was scavenging some goods, and at first they don't know who she is or who she's with. She leads them to her village because she realizes that they're actually not bad people. They're just soldiers trying to help the whole situation. They're anti-Germany, for that matter at the time.
Nazis.
Maybe
not
Anti-Nazis is probably a better way to say it.
Yep.
You're right. But anyway, yeah, that was the case. And so should we go into spoilers from here? Because a lot of plot happens right when they get to that French village.
Yeah.
Unless there's anything else you want to say before we get into it.
No, not really. I think most of what I want to talk about is in spoilers.
Start it off. Go for it.
So, right off the bat, well, I thought the movie was... Okay, so I think after that first 15, 20 minutes, I think the movie took a dip. It slowed down. The pace slowed down dramatically.
Interesting. Okay.
I thought the same thing.
And it was kind of losing me for a while, honestly.
Oh, wow.
Up until about the halfway through the second act when it started to pick up again, when you see, I believe his name was Boyce, the main character,
Yes.
Actually get into the facility, and you start to see all the fucking fucked up
on?
shit, all the science experiments, and then there was that woman's head under the table.
That part was like, oh,
I was like,
shit.
holy fuck.
Yeah, the lead character of the movie finds this woman's like severed head, somewhat severed anyway, from her actual body.
Head, and then part of her spine, just completely underneath the table, just kind of hanging there. But she's
saying
still,
something.
but she's still
She's
speaking.
still conscious.
Yeah, she's
very
still
conscious.
It's just like, what the fuck is going on?
Screaming
there?
for help. That was actually, I forgot about that scene. That is another gruesome scene.
I thought that's the part you were talking about. That was the part where it took me like, oh,
I know
shit.
what scene. I forgot about the scene Peter's talking about.
Yeah.
Holy fucking shit. But I know what scene AJ's talking about. But what I want to bring up, there were a few good parts on that slower moments, like with the aunt.
Sure.
How you kind of hear her breathing heavy, or even me and AJ were talking about this earlier. You know a jump scare is going to happen when he's like going towards the room.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It fucking happened. I jumped.
You want to explain, like, describe what the
That's
what you're
just how
talking about
jump
with the
scares
aunt?
work.
She,
that you're talking about?
Yeah, he is correct. Peter is
Even
correct.
when you're anticipating it, you're not really
I hate that.
anticipating it.
Right. Not as well as it is going to actually be. Yeah.
But she's just breathing really heavy. The girl, what's her name? Chloe?
I think so. Was it Chloe?
I forget.
We'll go with
I
Chloe.
forget.
Yeah,
The French girl that we talked about that led the soldiers to the village has an aunt that she says is very
very
sick, quote unquote.
But then immediately you hear her you just hear her wheezing and making zombie-esque noises.
In a very
So if you've seen the
concerning
trailer,
way, yeah.
you know immediately zombie.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Now, is it just me? I took my little brother and he agreed with me, but he may have just agreed with me because he's my little brother. But I do feel like it had like a Resident Evil feel to it.
I can see that.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think way better done than Resident Evil.
No, yeah, but it still
yes.
had like, it was man-made. They're injecting themselves. They came back to life. They're
Yes.
kind of scary.
You say the same thing about 28 Days or weeks later as well. That was
God, I haven't
made
seen that
also.
in a long time. You're an old man, AJ.
It's a great movie
I hadn't
series.
thought about
though.
that, but yeah, it actually does follow
And it was for the
a
Super
Resident Evil
Soldier
game
way of doing things.
pretty much to a T.
That's what my brother was saying.
Kinda
4
like
and 5.
Resident Evil
That's
4,
what he
yeah.
said.
The characters just kind of stumble into the situation. They're there for a purpose, but then they realize that things are maybe not quite as they seem, and then there's a virus, and then there's infected, and then the main villain injects himself with the virus like the end of every Resident Evil game
Right.
ever.
They fight their own form of Wesker, essentially.
That's what I said. I was like, it kind of reminded me of Wesker.
Yeah.
Joshua was like, you're stepping a little bit too much. Man.
No,
But
that's
what I
was
felt.
crazy,
I mean, it was
yeah.
a great movie. It just you could have said Resident Evil, and I would have thought it was a Resident Evil
Sure.
movie.
But again, way better than those movies, in my opinion.
Those movies weren't that great.
In case it hasn't become obvious yet, essentially what this movie is about is World War II experiments happening on the Nazi end, getting people, any captors they had, or people even probably on their own side.
Well, they were purposely killing the villagers and then taking them to the church to experiment on them. Because one of the doctors actually say, we haven't tested it on live humans.
Exactly. So that's what we're talking about with zombies. That's why zombies are part of this movie to begin with. The Germans are experimenting on people, or one doctor in particular is experimenting on dead people.
There is some truth to that in history as well. So the movie just kind of plays off of that, how Nazis were really into some pretty fucked up experiments.
Didn't a drug
on
come out of
humans.
that, like cocaine or something like that helped them?
I'm not going to say no.
I don't know about cocaine.
But
I
it was
think
like
it's been
drug.
around longer.
LSD
But that could
maybe? I don't
maybe
know.
LSD-esque, something like that. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not saying you're
But
wrong.
a lot of experiments did go down, as you said, Peter. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so they kind of just play off of that, and they do their own thing with it, and
They
works.
made them zombies.
Yeah.
Yay. Exactly.
But they're sort of zombies, but they're sort of not zombies. It's kind of like they're
monsters.
They're not slow zombies.
They're not.
They're
not weak zombies that fall over easily either. Not necessarily. Not some of them anyway.
They're like which one is it? Dawn of the Dead? Dawn of the Dead zombies? Is that the one where they're in a mall?
Yes,
they're
that
fast
is Dawn of the
zombies.
Dead.
Yeah.
Yes, they're kind of Some of them are really, really fast if they're not hanging by a spinal cord alone.
Yeah.
Yes, they're super soldier. Like they're essentially super soldiers experiments that aren't fully realized and completed yet, or accomplished yet. You could say, because it does give them extreme superhuman strength. For sure.
Okay, so
Yes, get into it.
Boyce goes into he goes into
Our
the
lead
facility.
character.
Our lead character. He goes into the facility. He sees all this fucked up shit. He sees he takes a syringe full of some substance that he sees one of the scientists injecting into a dead body. He doesn't know what it is, but he takes it. He also stumbles upon somebody that was part of his squad, his platoon, and he rescues him, takes him back. Some bullshit happens. They inject one of their guys gets shot and killed, like dead, flatlined. He is dead, and out of desperation, he injects him with this liquid, and he comes back to life. And probably one of the freakiest scenes in the movie happens after
what
that.
I was talking about.
Okay. So he comes back to life, and at first he's just kind of confused and also excited that he's alive.
And very thirsty.
And
Yeah,
very thirsty.
very thirsty. Don't forget that.
Because a moment ago he was like, I'm just dying. He even takes a moment to like look at his wounds and like stick a
He
finger
touches
in one.
it. He doesn't hurt.
It doesn't
He's like, it
hurt.
doesn't even hurt.
That made me
Yeah, like,
laugh.
I'm fine. And then he gets up. Everybody around him is just like, what the fuck is going
They're
on?
And he's like, and he's even like, I
Scared.
guess it wasn't that bad, bro.
Yeah.
You died.
Yeah.
He was gone.
And then his body just starts to not handle whatever substance was injected into him.
Not very well.
And it's disgusting.
Yeah, this is the part that freaked me out, where I'm like, yeah, this is kind of horror-esque.
Like bones bend in a way, his
Snap.
body bends in a way that no body should ever bend repeatedly.
Like his neck and chest snap back and like break his
his
spine.
head pretty much turns into a Pez dispenser.
Yeah.
And then it puts itself back together, but with bones kind
Like
of
collarbones,
sticking out.
ripping out through his skin, kind of.
It was really intense and kind
Very
of comes
well
out of
done.
nowhere.
Very
Very
well
well
done.
good. It definitely made me uneasy, and that's no easy task. I have a pretty
Yeah.
strong stomach when it comes to this stuff usually.
Yeah. But no, that was pretty gruesome for sure. And then like suddenly he's able to like smack wood columns that are like thicker than his entire body.
Yeah.
and, like,
When he
break them in
bangs his
half.
head against one of them and just
Exactly.
snaps.
He's one of the smaller guys. He's just a photographer in the army as well, and yet he was able to like throw guys way bigger than him around like with no problem. And eventually they just have to kind of blow him away because they realize that he's kind of going crazy with power, and he ends up being upset that they brought him back to life because he's so terrified at what he's become, essentially.
Oh yeah, he kind of freaks out, as any any man in their right mind
Yes.
would,
Yeah, it was very freaky.
when something's happening to them and they don't understand it. It's
Very well
something
done
so
scene.
horrible at that.
Yeah, but it made me enjoy the movie even more. That wow, this movie really goes somewhere. As far as any movie or show that I've seen J.J. Abrams' name attached to, I know he just produced it, not necessarily directed or wrote it. But it's definitely the most gory J.J. Abrams associated film I've ever seen.
yeah.
Easily.
I love the scene where the chemistry between the Nazi captain and then the guy from the army, when he ties him up and he's like, "This is
yes.
one that you're not gonna win," and they start hitting each
Corporal?
other.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yes.
corporal. Yeah, I really love that.
Corporal was a great character too.
Yeah.
I liked him a lot. Very cool character. So there's every character that's a part of the squad has their own distinct personality. You got the snarky Italian guy in there as well. You got the do right main character, the protagonist that you love. You have the corporal that's willing to do anything it takes to accomplish the mission.
This is something that confused me about the corporal.
What's that?
Is that for the first half of the movie, he's all about the mission. He's like,
Yes.
we're here for a mission. We need to do the mission. Stop being a bitch, boys.
Yeah.
We're here to do the mission.
Mm-hmm.
And then they capture, because of Boyce actually, they
Mm-hmm.
capture the captain, the Nazi captain who's in charge of this whole.
That's running this village.
Yeah, that's pretty much controlling this village and running the facility that they're supposed to blow up.
Yes.
And then he starts torturing the guy. And then Boyce is the one that said we're here for the mission, and then he's just like, nah, you gotta play dirty, they fight dirty, we gotta be dirty to win, or something along those
Yeah.
lines, which I thought was kind of strange because his motivations just kind of do a 180 on a dime, just out of nowhere, and then immediately following that scene, he pretty much goes back to we're here to do a mission. So I was I was just like, I don't.
Let me see if what I have to say clears anything up for you. So
Sure.
the only reason why the corporal was beating him like that
Okay.
was
Wanted
him to
information.
talk for information.
And he
because-
got some information because he came down and said there's about 40 men in there.
Exactly. He was trying to figure out how many Nazi soldiers were in the facility that they need to break into and destroy.
Okay.
That's why he was beating the shit
I
out
was
of him.
wondering if I had missed something there because I was
Okay.
very confused.
Oh yeah, the guy wouldn't talk. That's why the Nazi soldier was saying like, "No, fuck you." Every
Right.
time you try to get something out of him, that's why he was saying that. He wasn't just saying it to be a dick. He didn't want to talk and expose how many soldiers he had in there. Yeah, that's why he was beating the fuck out of him.
All right.
Yeah,
You wanted
very gruesome
information,
scene though
yeah.
too. I kind of liked how far it went. It was very disturbing. Like this corporal character is not to be trifled with at all. But then later on in the movie, he kind of gets his just desserts, you could say.
That part was very hard to watch when he puts him on the hook.
It was pretty rough.
When he
has to
pulls
pull himself
himself
back up.
off, I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I would die, guys. If I was like that, I would die.
to give a little more context, as we mentioned earlier, are the protagonist
We're in
Boyce.
spoilers. They know what happened.
Okay, hopefully they watched the movie by now. But yes, Boyce does originally accidentally find himself in the facility that they need to destroy. And then he tells the corporal that, hey, I know how to get back. Because, again, the girl that leads him to the village, Boyce ends up, liking her. I don't know if there's like a love interest there necessarily, but even though I kind of wanted there to be a little bit of one. They kind of
play around with it a little bit, but they don't fully commit to it.
Yeah, it kind of alludes maybe something in the future could happen between them. But yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it wasn't necessary to the plot at all. It was kind of just fun to see that they actually cared about each other. The girl that is a part of the village that leads them there, her little brother, which was maybe 10 years old or something like that, gets kidnapped by the Nazi captain because he ends up escaping because they weren't paying close enough attention to him after he was beaten.
Well, because there's a zombie monster, man.
Yeah.
That part made me laugh. And when they're focusing on the zombie monster dude and you see the Nazi captain just kind of look around him, just kind of slide out of frame.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm going to get the fuck out of here.
Pink Panther that shit.
Exactly. Freaking bastard. But yeah, he slips away, and so then they need to get him back because the corporal steals or kidnaps the kid, takes him back to the facility. So now it is their mission.
The Nazi captain, not the corporal.
Yes, I'm sorry. The Nazi captain stole the kid, takes him with him because, he threatened to kill the kid if they touched him, essentially. So then they have to go in there. Boyce is like, no, not only do we need to blow up the building, but before we do, we need to take this kid back as well. It's a kid,
Yeah.
And all the soldiers kind of end up falling in love with the kid. He's a sweet little guy. So yeah, they do that.
I didn't. I was like, leave the fucking kid.
Oh, I know, right? Do the mission.
Well, he wanted to blow up the underground also because they just wanted to take down that top tower. But yeah, the tower instead of the actual science facility where all these experiments are happening. So there was a reason besides the brother.
True.
He wanted to fuck shit up on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
Because, again, it wouldn't be good that if the Americans, or any country for that matter, figured out what they were doing out there, because then experiments would just prolong, essentially, and not lead to very good things.
So, I was under the impression, going into this movie, that it somehow tied into the Cloverfield universe.
No, it's not. That was confirmed was not.
Okay.
Yeah, I only found that out after I left the movie, because I looked into it. I was like, I thought it was part of the Cloverfield universe.
No,
honestly, it's the only reason I went to go see the movie.
Oh, really?
That's why I was excited. It wasn't until like 3 weeks ago when I brought it up to my girlfriend. I was like, oh, it's supposed to be a part of the Cloverfield universe. And I Wikipedia'd it, and it was like, it's not. Oh.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams said straight out, like, no, it's not.
At least he did, though, before people went out to see it, but which is commendable of him, but probably would have driven more butts in the seats to see it,
honestly, you can argue that it is. I mean, have you guys seen the Cloverfield Paradox?
Yes.
No. But I know I've seen the YouTube videos with all the theories.
They bring up the idea of like the multiverse and multiple dimensions.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be argued that it is still part of the. I mean, when you bring multiverses into the equation, you can argue that anything is part of any universe.
Exactly.
DC.
I mean, yeah. Or Days of Future's Past, for that matter. Whatever. But yeah.
It did definitely have a Cloverfield-esque feel.
Yeah.
In the sense that it had a really dark and real tone.
Great sci-fi.
With sci-fi elements thrown in.
You could easily see why J.J. Abrams wanted to put his name on it. It's totally his brand of everything. The humor that was in it, the characters that you care about, the action, maybe not the violence, because again, it was pretty violent compared to a lot of things that you see, except for Cloverfield 1, and then also 10 Cloverfield Lane did have its gruesome parts, of course, but not quite like
10
this.
Cloverfield Lane is probably my favorite of the Cloverfield movies.
That movie's so good. So good.
I want the original still holds a special place in my heart, but 10 Cloverfield Lane.
John Goodman is so good in that.
John Goodman's amazing. Every character does every actor does a great job in that movie.
Very
easily.
true.
But anyway, back to Overlord. So yeah, they need to go back in there to not only save the kid, but destroy the facility so that way jets can then fly into that airspace safely, and then also so that way they can destroy any experimentation that's going on in there. So they go in there and rush. And the reason why John was talking about earlier as to why the corporal was hooked, we said, was because literally he gets put on like a meat hook and is hung by like his breastplate, essentially.
Well, let's explain why that happened.
Please do.
Yeah. The main villain, he fucking gets shot in the face.
the Nazi captain.
Yeah, the Nazi captain.
Like, he gets his jaw
when he
blown off.
escapes Pink Panther style, all that fun stuff. As he's escaping, he gets fucking shot in the face
on his way out.
Yeah, it's pretty gruesome because they actually show his face.
Yeah,
they take him back to the church. I believe it's a church, right?
Yeah, it's underneath the church.
Yeah, so he goes under it and he's all fucking running around trying to find his drugs.
And he's holding his face together. Like, they don't show you what his wound looks like until
he lets go.
Yeah, and he injects himself twice.
Which was...
And then that's when you get the scientists when they say that they've only experimented on the dead, basically.
Yeah, he's trying to tell him not to do it. He's like trying to dissuade him.
But the guy was going to die, so you might as well.
Oh, yeah.
True, yeah.
So,
God, I was thinking about that, too, because I didn't realize it until he removed his hand and he saw...
And you just see... Like the fucking side of his mouth.
Because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, "Fuck, I wouldn't inject myself with that shit." I mean, I work there, and I see what happens and what can go.
You see
down.
the lady without a body?
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously.
But then it wasn't until he took off his hand, and you see his open, like, he almost looks like Two-Face, but if Two-Face took a shotgun to the jaw, to one side of his mouth.
Oh,
I thought
and
that
then
was
I
the scene
realized,
AJ was talking about.
That one's pretty good.
And then I realized, fuck, if I had half my face missing and I was in that much pain, I would inject myself with whatever the fuck I can get my hands on.
No, seriously,
if it's going to stop that pain. Holy shit.
Turned him into like a terrible
So he turns
monster.
into like a super Nazi at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Wesker. He turns into Wesker. Pretty much. And he gets into the fight with the corporal.
Corporal, yeah.
And
I believe that was his role,
Yeah.
Or his title.
And then they kind of like reverse the scene that happened earlier.
Yes.
Where they tie him up. Or he hangs him.
The Nazi hangs the corporal by his breastplate.
On a hook. And then
John would die.
proceeded to torture him or interrogate him. It was really to torture him, but it was a play off of the
payback.
interrogation that
happened
was
earlier.
inflicted on him earlier.
Mm-hmm. Very well done, though. Again, I was like, yeah, it was terrible because I really liked the corporal character, and then to see him get bashed just as badly as he did to him, it was kind of rough to watch.
There were some pretty cheesy lines in that scene, I gotta say, from the corporal. Like, it was very like some weird one-liners. Like, the Nazi dude would ask him something, and he would just be like.
He told him, "Fuck you back."
Yeah, I'd be like, "Go fuckers!" Like, I don't know, just the way the line was delivered and the way the cameras were shot and all that. I don't know. It took me out of it for a second. I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Oh,
I didn't think it was this kind of movie, but I guess we're here.
I personally was like clinging to my seat the entire time. I was chomping at the bit. I loved it. But I can see where you're coming from with that, though. I thought it was a fun ride, and again. At that point, then where does the story go from that? So the corporal gets kidnapped or gets taken, hung by the meat hook, and then Boyce is able to save the brother. Correct?
Boyce is able to save the little brother. The corporal gets off the meat hook, but he's dying.
Is by himself.
He has to pull himself off the meat hook after the Nazi captain, after the Wesker is distracted by Boyce.
His voice comes back.
Yes.
And he injects, the corporal injects himself with the serum, because he might as well. He's already died. He's got a fucking gaping wound in his chest from the hook that he was hanging on.
Yes.
So he injects himself to have to stand a fighting chance against the Nazi captain.
Yes.
And so they kind of go toe to toe in a pretty satisfying.
I still feel like he
say.
gets his ass kicked a little bit more than.
Oh yeah, no, without a doubt.
He's not quite as strong.
That was another part that got like cheesy one-liners because he's getting his ass kicked, and then he stands up and he has like a Captain America, I can do this all day type moment.
Sure, I could see.
And
that.
then he starts making a comeback, but then he gets his ass kicked again.
Yeah, I mean, he at least buys everyone enough time to do what they need to do: grab the boy, get out, escape, and then the corporal has like a nice hero send-off, you could say, where he lets everyone run away as long as he's able to hold off the corporal the Nazi captain, and again, just to let them all escape. And I believe it's Boyce that they use like an oxygen tank, is it? Or nitrous oxide, something like that?
No, they use a tank of some sort.
Yeah, it was some sort of...
Propane and propane accessories.
They blow up the Nazi captain pretty well, who ends up surviving anyway.
I forgot to mention, so the reason they were making this serum in the first place was because... I guess they wanted to make super soldiers.
Yes.
That's basically what they said. They were making soldiers that can fight for 1,000 years or something.
1,000 year soldiers.
Yeah, exactly. So as Corporal is sacrificing himself and telling Boyce to leave without him, you see some of these super soldiers escape because the Nazi captain lets them loose. And that's why he stays behind. He stays behind so that he can hold them off, like you said, and then blow up the facility. I think he's the one that says, the corporal that is, that our side shouldn't even have this stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
this stuff should just stay buried. So he's just like, just bury this place.
Which I related with. It's like, yeah, this shit is messed
It's
up.
just fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So yeah, and it was a pretty cool ending too, as far as that whole facility blown up. Everyone ends up okay. There is one American soldier that gets shot for a second, the snarky Italian guy. I thought that was kind of, at first I thought he was dead. I was
Yeah,
like,
I
oh
thought he was gonna
shit,
die,
because
yeah.
he ends up saving the kid. The kid runs out of the facility. Boy lets him run off.
He's a dumbass kid, by the way.
Yeah, in the middle of a firefight.
He
and all
runs
that.
in the middle. Okay, you're a kid. You don't know any better. You're running into the firefight, but then he stops in the middle of the street just to be confused.
Right.
Like, you couldn't have just been confused
what
over
the
there
fuck?
on the
Yeah.
on the sidewalk. Why
You deserve to get shot at this point. You're in the middle of a crossfire.
You're in a war-torn city. I'm sure you've heard. You know what gunshots are. I'm sure. I don't know. I hate kids. I don't know.
You
if
know
you
the
can tell.
hype.
I don't know if you can tell, but I hate kids,
No, understandable.
especially in movies. They're dumb.
Sure, sure. But yeah, eventually the kid makes it out. The older sister, the cute one that likes boys, kinda, at least likes him as a person. Whatever you want to say.
She likes his
was okay.
personality.
She likes his personality. Yeah, that gets an A+. Everything else, we'll see in the sequel. I don't think we're ever going to get a
Sequel?
sequel.
Question mark.
I'm just
they kind of lay
right?
the groundwork for. They leave it open
because
for a
they
possible
didn't
sequel.
get sent home.
They didn't get sent home, and even though the facility was blown up, we don't really see all the serums get destroyed. I assume that they did, though.
The Nazi captain mentions it briefly after he goes all Wesker, and he says that they found this substance. It was underneath France. They found it in the soil or some shit. This liquidy,
They talked about
whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
So I mean, if it could be all over. For all we know, there's a bunch of different facilities. On top of that, they never really circle back to the aunt that's sick.
Oh,
in
No,
the
they
room.
kill her, don't they?
Oh, yeah, they do kill her.
Yeah, because when the girl's running to save the brother or something like that,
the Nazi captain says to deal with the aunt.
and you clearly see like the fucking
I must have
gunshot
completely
go
missed that part.
crazy.
Two Nazis walk into her bedroom, and then from outside the window, it shows like gunshots go off.
and blood
Like that,
in the
yeah.
window. I
Oh,
believe,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I missed that part entirely.
That's my little brother said the same thing. I was like, she died. The bitch is dead. Yeah.
Well, in any case, if they're taking in some of these people and experimenting on them and then just sending them back home, who
No,
knows how many
it was
more
just
people?
the aunt because you remember he said we had the deal.
I was only half paying attention. As you can clearly tell.
because he has a deal with her. She gets to sex him up every day.
That's right.
I mean,
okay, I didn't
he's
make
like
that connection.
Yeah.
I did wonder what the deal was.
Yeah,
I think it was to keep the three of them safe.
Yes,
Okay.
the Nazi captain made a deal with the nice girl that leads the American soldiers to her village, and that she gives it up to him, and then he decides not to kill her family, essentially.
Which makes no sense to me now that we talk about it, because the aunt wasn't crazy.
She wasn't. No, that's true. She really wasn't.
She was
just dealing with
experimenting.
symptoms.
I mean, the door wasn't locked or anything. It was just
That's true.
All the other ones are like human hungry all of a sudden.
And when
this one
Boyce
isn't.
goes up to the door, she doesn't attack him or anything.
She's just like, I'm here, sir, surprise, and that was it.
Bad motherfucker, and then
Yeah.
just walks away. Yeah, that's kind of true. That's an interesting
Makes no
point.
sense.
Maybe she got a lower dose, but they made no
I'm thinking she's
effort to
tied up.
explain that.
But
But she walked around though, didn't she?
Yeah,
Well,
Like in the scene that it shows her,
Like
she
a-
was just walking
and
around
if
the
she's
room.
super, she can probably just fucking snap.
got a
the thing.
ball and chain, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That is
Got her on
one
a
thing, I
leash.
guess,
Plot
that I
hole-
feel like they
plot hole
really cut
discovered.
the plot hold a little bit. Again, I'm only giving the benefit of the doubt that maybe they gave her a weaker dose, but again, that was not even alluded to once during the movie as far as
Yeah.
what they did to her. You assume that it's just the same as everyone else because she didn't look any less hideous compared to all the other zombies for that
Not
matter.
at all. You only get a quick glimpse, but God, it's a horrible glimpse.
It's kind of gross, yeah. Though I do feel that the makeup for all the other zombies were way better than hers, though.
I
feel like hers was just
Some
okay
of them
looking.
are really fucking good.
Yeah.
And now I think about it, the only ones who seemed like they were willing to like attack people were the ones that didn't look awful.
Yes, they kind of still had like a human-esque look to them.
Yeah,
Somewhat.
And the
anyway.
aunt looked like a terrible
She looked
giant
like a
pimple,
monster.
like a giant pimple.
She looked- yeah, exactly. She looked like a morbidly obese dinosaur or something like that. I don't know. A slimy one, for that matter. But yeah, overall, though, I don't think this movie needs a sequel at all, and I'm totally
No.
fine without ever getting one. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is never one. But I would say this movie, go out and see it. Totally worth
It
it.
was
I'm
a
not
roller coaster.
Yeah, I'm not sure if what we had to say gave it much justice, but I will personally say and endorse that, yeah, it's worth going out and seeing in theaters for sure.
It's definitely good. I had my problems with it, as I do with most things, but overall, I had a lot of fun. It was great.
Yeah, I agree. I would watch it
Don't
again.
overthink.
Yeah, I
Just enjoy it for what it is.
I wanna see it in
Nazis,
Dolby Cinema for
World II, zombies,
Zombies.
Nazis,
Yes.
Wesker.
A lot of
Wesker.
violence. Wesker,
Resident
yes.
Evil.
All you need to know. Rent it, skip it, buy it. How do you guys feel about it?
Rent it.
I'd rent it.
Rent it. I don't know if I'll buy it yet. I'll have to maybe decide in a second
rent.
viewing.
It's a rent. It's worth a watch, but maybe don't keep it.
2 out of 3 rent. There you go. Yeah.
Use your friend's Netflix account. Turn off the captions.
Turn off the captions. Yeah. Don't turn them back on. Be that guy. Channel the AJ. And then let PG Chalva know on Twitter and Instagram how your friend reacted to not turning back on their subtitles as well. Please do. Well, then, do we have a topic lined up for next week?
Doesn't Creed come out?
No, not Creed. The Harry Potter one, Fantastic Beasts.
Oh, Crimes of
really?
Grimmelwald.
We gotta see that shit.
I've heard reviews.
I like Fantastic Beasts. I thought it was pretty good.
I didn't like it at all.
Oh, that's a subject for maybe next week.
Yeah. I think I told you once, John. I think I said that I agreed with you that I liked it, but ultimately I looked at my phone, so I didn't pay attention to the entire thing.
God damn!
If a movie's good, I will not look at my phone.
I wish I would have paid attention to my phone.
Yeah, right.
I did not like Fantastic Beasts at all, and I love the Harry Potter movies.
I'll say this: if we ever do like a Fantastic Beast like episode where we just talk about the original movie, I'll repeat it then. But I think the villain was really good until it turned into Johnny Depp. Which is partially
I will say that was a bit.
Colin Farrell was a way better villain.
Colin Farrell was great
than being like unsatisfactory. Than being unsatisfied with Johnny Depp all of a sudden being the actual villain. That didn't make sense to me.
That was like the last 15 minutes of the movie.
Not even 15 minutes. It's like the last 30 seconds.
So you can't say that ruined the movie.
What ruined the movie for me, there weren't any Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, there were.
Fantastic
like
Beasts.
There were quite a bit. No, he goes into his briefcase. Fucking stop looking at your phone and watch the goddamn movie.
I thought it was kind of boring. It was kind of boring.
I thought the comedy is what ruined it for me. It felt really flat.
I could be wrong, and I could be very offensive here. We'll get to the end of the podcast soon, but since we're on the topic, I haven't read the screenplay or the short story of it, but is Eddie Redmayne, the lead character, is that character like autistic?
I have no idea.
No.
Is he because he was like seriously socially awkward, right? It wasn't just me that got that vibe.
I only saw the movie once, and I don't remember.
I don't think
his role.
he's socially awkward at all.
No,
I think he just loves his beast more than anything else.
Than other people, than actual people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, have fun cutting this future, AJ, since this is not going to make the final podcast.
I'm not trying to be insulting. I just was very thrown off as to what the portrayal of the character actually was, because I love everything that Eddie Redmayne does, but I just thought his character this time, I just didn't have anything to really care about with him. That's all. I thought it was nice that he cared about his little creatures that he keeps in his briefcase, but
I'm just now realizing he's the main character. I completely forgot. I completely forgot what role he played.
He's going to be in the second one, so I don't know.
It doesn't kind of excite you a little bit more that Jude Law now is going to be
part of the. Is he?
He's young Dumbledore.
Young Dumbledore.
And I love Jude Law. Jude Law's great.
Jude Law is good. That's true, and I'm hoping
hate Johnny Depp.
I'm hoping he helps the movie along, and I'm hoping that I like Johnny Depp in the movie because
you won't.
I have liked Johnny Depp in the past.
I don't think you're supposed to like him.
No, I don't think so.
I just
then again, there's some villains.
Was Johnny Depp autistic in the movie? I'm sorry, Johnny Depp. I'm not. Fuck you.
Don't be sorry to Johnny Depp.
I'm not.
Don't insult autistic
He's probably
people.
thinking about all the ways he's going to beat his wife later.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
With $1 million worth of wine bottles that he orders every month to his home. Or whatever that number is, for that matter. But be looking forward to that. Crimes of Grindelwald, is that what it's called?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, again, it's a Harry Potter movie. I will see it. We will see it, obviously. I'm hoping it's good. The first one, you get a pass from John for sure. He loved it. AJ and Peter, it was okay. It was okay.
And
I thought it was
worse than okay.
Worse than okay.
That's not the first time that was said in a reference in this podcast. I'll take that for sure.
Catchphrase, worse than okay.
Worse than okay. I think that's what the review will be. If you guys find us online, you can find us on podcast.com, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to rate us, you can comment less than okay?
Worse than okay.
Worse than okay.
Yep.
I'm fine with that.
Get that
for sure.
trending.
Yes, definitely. You can also find us on iTunes and Spotify. Be sure to rate us a 5-star, guys, please. It really helps us out a lot. Also, if you want to email us any topics or questions for weeks and episodes to follow, you can find us on Gmail. That will be STGeekPod@gmail.com. Again, STGeekPod@gmail.com. Also, Twitter and Instagram, STGeekPod. Thanks so much for listening. Any parting words, you guys?
I love you guys. That was John.
Message me at PG Chava.
Yep. And so thanks for joining us on another episode of
The Synonymous Tiger Geek.
Very good. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Tigers ho!
Peace. Stop. Specifically for the podcast.
I felt bad about one time. I was like,
No, you had every reason to. I felt like an idiot for doing it without even realizing I was doing it. But you had every right to shut that down immediately.
Check.
Check.
Check your booty.